Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to 2022. It's been 2022 for a while by now, but for me, in real time, it is January 3rd, so the first video I'm filming of the new year. And for once, it is sunny outside. That might not sound like a big deal, but I don't think it has been sunny while I've filmed for like the past, I don't know, 10 videos maybe, and it also hasn't been sunny here in Toronto for what feels like a month. It's been a dark time, literally and figuratively. So, a couple months ago, I did a video talking about all the products that I wanted to finish by the end of 2021. This was like setting a very firm goal that I wanted these things out of my life by the end of the year. This was inspired by Sarah Rose. I believe she did this video first. I'm really glad that I did because it was super helpful just to see, like, as I slowly finished these products, being able to tick them off the list and see how quickly I finished them. Okay. Sorry, just found out that everything is closing here in Toronto for the next little while, so. But anyways, let's talk about what I managed to finish and actually did much better than I anticipated. So, of the products that I wanted to finish by the end of 2021, I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I finished 8 of them, fully panned. I decluttered 2 of them, and I was not successful with 3 of them. So I feel like that's pretty good odds, but let's just get into what I finished and what I did not. In this video, I will also be talking about all of the products that I finished throughout 2021, but I wanted to put this all in one video. But we are starting out with the most exciting things, which are the things that I specifically discussed in a video. First off, I did not manage to finish this Tarte foundation. Yeah, sad about that. I really thought I could get it done, but it's very hard to tell how much is left in this, so I guess I was just over optimistic about it. Let's just do the things that I didn't finish. This next one, I wasn't even sure if I should include in that video. I was like, should I keep this part of the video in? Should I edit it out? I don't really think that it's possible to finish this. And yeah, that was absolutely the case. Look how much is left. That's a huge amount, but you know, it's okay. We move. And then the last thing, this is a hair product actually. My hair's doing great these days, by the way, but I have not really been reaching for this. This is just a hair oil, macadamia oil. I have not reached for this very much just because I try to keep things to very few steps except for makeup, like my skincare, my hair care routine, very, very minimal. And this means adding in a third product. I'll do my shampoo, my conditioner, and then doing a third thing. That's just kind of a lot of work for me. So I didn't quite finish it, but I don't think that there's too much left. So hopefully in the next couple months, I can get this out as well. Let's talk about what I decluttered next. One of them was this lip balm. It just started to smell really funky, so I wanted to get it out of there. Got a lot used up out of this. I would say more than half for sure, although it sort of started going around the edges. So I'm happy that I made the progress I did before it started going bad. Okay, I think one of these things was supposed to say decluttered rather than panned. But the other thing that I decluttered was actually, there were these 2 products that I just really wasn't getting very much use out of. I don't have them here anymore because I actually was already able to hand them over to someone else. I knew that they weren't for me, they weren't working super well, so I decided to declutter them, and I'm glad that I found a new home for them so quickly. So let's move on to the empties. And I'm gonna try to move through all of this fairly quickly just because I do want to have enough time to talk about all of the empties from this year. First off, this blush from e.l.f. This was like a full year project. This obviously took so long to completely finish, but I'm very proud of myself that I was able to get it done. The next is this brow powder, that middle one there. Obviously you can see I have 2 other shades in there that I haven't finished, but it was just that one in the middle that I really wanted to pan, and as you can see, I successfully did. Okay, these next 2 things are fairly recent finishes. This is a mascara. This is the 1x1. I talked about this also in my project pan. There is a tiny bit of product left if I like rub it. Can you see what I mean? But it's not worth it at this point. It's too little, and I just wanted this out, so I feel like I was incentivized to decide that this was finished because it was in this sort of year-end project pan, so I'm glad that I put it in there. Otherwise, I might still be scraping the tube trying to get whatever is left. This next one is the e.l.f. waterproof eyeliner pen. This was a good color, even though the end of it was kind of like messed up, but the last time I tried to use it, the color was really not coming out so well. Can you see how it sort of like fading there, and I tried to like press on it harder, and this is unfortunately what happened. So it does give color, but what the heck is this wand? So that is a goodbye. This next one is the Warm Vanilla Sugar Fragrance Mist from Bath & Body Works. This is one of the final body sprays that I had in my collection, and I'm just trying to finish them off because I got them all so long ago, and while they smell fairly nice, I'm just not really into the idea of body mists anymore. And the last thing is this product that I was using as an eyelid primer. I will insert a clip here, but unfortunately I don't have it anymore. I explained this further in my recent project pan video, and I will link that right here. I did finish it in time, so I was very, very happy about that. And then the last product that I finished was this gold sparkly liner. This, I'm not really sure if it's a declutter or an empty. I called it a declutter, but I couldn't get any more product out, so I guess it could be considered an empty. Like, I really have to rub the brush around in there to have any show up. I did keep reviving this with contact solution, and it made it work a couple more times, but this is just too old, and it doesn't really work anymore. So I decided that it was time to say goodbye to that. So those are all of the products that I finished from my planning to pan end of 2021 project, but let's move on to all of the other makeup products that I finished throughout 2021. So as you can see behind me, I have all of the empties. Don't look quite yet. I decided to just lay them out so it'd be easier to introduce each product category. So first of all, we have foundations. I finished 2 foundations this year. That kind of surprised me because this foundation, this Maybelline Dream Liquid Mousse, I don't feel like I've thought about this in a very long time. Like, it feels as if I finished this ages and ages ago because I dislike this so much. I just remember how strongly I felt towards this in the negative, and I don't feel like I've thought about it for a long time. So I'm just surprised that I finished that in 2021. This was the Rimmel Wake Me Up foundation. This, again, like, I must have finished this in the first half of the year, probably like June, maybe April, like somewhere around there, because I just don't feel like I have thought about it in a long time. So I just feel like I've been working on that Tarte foundation for so long, like for at least the past year. But I'm happy I finished 2 foundations in a year. That seems really good, and I'm hoping that in this next year I will finish 3. My goal is 3 this year, so we'll see if I achieve that. Next we have concealers. I finished these 2 concealers this year. I had the Maybelline, you can't even read the writing on this anymore, but I had repurchased this a couple of times. I liked it fine, wasn't my favorite, but I thought it did a good job. This was the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat. I actually quite enjoyed this. This one was from a Buns trade this year, and interesting that they're both sort of the same shape, but these are both not cruelty-free brands, so I would not repurchase. I guess I will tell you if there's something that I would repurchase, but my guess is I wouldn't repurchase any of this stuff just because I feel like for the most part this past year I was still working on things that I didn't really enjoy. So there you are. So let's talk blush. This one I just talked about, obviously the e.l.f. blush, and this was the Fox in a Box Hard Candy blush. This actually had 4 colors and one was a bronzer, but I'm just calling it a blush. I think I got rid of part of this, like it broke or something, so I didn't quite finish it, but I almost did. I was working on it for so long. Used to like this, not so much anymore. Next category, bronzer. 2 bronzers. I finished 2 bronzers this time. I don't even like bronzer. Like, okay, I have come around to bronzer a bit. I was just rewatching some of my old videos and I said something like I use bronzer 2 or 3 days a week. Now I'm like, no, every time I wear makeup, I need to put on bronzer. Obviously, I did not finish this one, unfortunately, but next year. So this was the NYX Wonder Stick, which honestly caused me a lot of grief. If you were following along the saga, this was double-ended. So that was part of the reason. I like the bronzer part more than the highlight part, that's for sure. And then this I finished earlier on in the year. This was the first bronzer that I ever finished, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I finished any bronzers in my first 2 years of my no-buy. So this was from Wet n Wild, the color Icon in the color Goddess. This was a bit darker than this NYC shade, so it was a bit harder to use up. Okay, this next category is face powders. So I finished off 2 samples, and these actually took a while, even though they look so tiny. This is the Laura Mercier setting powder, which is actually what I am currently using now, but like the regular size version. I think I got these in a Buns trade. I don't like sample sizes of things. I just find the packaging like really inconvenient. So I did use them up, but I didn't enjoy doing it. And then this was the NYC Smooth Skin Pressed Face Powder. I feel like I probably got these at like around the same time, so they're both way too old. Huh, interesting. It says that the expiration is like 30 months, which is a lot longer than you usually see these days. I mean, it's a powder, so obviously it lasts longer, but I'm surprised that they didn't say 6 months just for the fun of it. This was fine. I don't think I had really any strong opinions about it. And I don't even know if that brand is still around, so that just shows you how long I've had these things. Okay, eyeliner. Look, I finished 5 eyeliners. I feel like that's pretty darn good. 3 were black, 1 was brown, and then 1 was gold. So let's go through them quickly. This was the e.l.f. one I just mentioned. This was the glittery one that I already mentioned. This was a Wet n Wild mega liner that had completely dried up. I opened this while I was filming my makeup inventory, and I was like, oh, I need to get rid of that. I did try to revive it, but you really can't fix a brush when it goes rogue like this. And then these next 2, this, it was so long ago when I finished this that I don't even remember it. This is the NYX Super Skinny Marker. I think it just got a bit dry, and so the color, it still had color payoff, but it was just not as vibrant as it used to be. So I decided that it was time to toss that. And then this was the CoverGirl Exact Eyelight eyeliner, one of the oldest products in my collection, so glad that I actually managed to finish that off. Let's talk brows. I finished 2 brow products, one which I obviously already talked about, the other was a brow gel. This, the writing completely came off on. I feel like that's a pretty consistent theme here, and it's not just a drugstore thing. Like the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat, the writing came off on that too. Why is that? That kind of bugs me. I thought this was a fine brow gel. Was this Revlon or Maybelline? L'Oreal. Whoops. No complaints, but would not repurchase, partially because it is not cruelty free, but also because just Again, all of these so far, And then eyeshadow, I fully finished 1 eyeshadow. This was the e.l.f. Innocent eyeshadow. This was just like a white kind of cream color that I would use on my brow bone, my inner corner, sometimes on the lid. And yeah, this is definitely the largest single eyeshadow that I've ever finished. Well, largest eyeshadow period, so I was really happy about that. And this was a little nubby thing. I think this was partially a brow thingy on that side, and then that side was like an eyeshadow. I think this was from Essence. Didn't really enjoy this. I think that was the only thing I've ever tried from Essence, and I know people love Essence, but just a little hesitant, but maybe one day. Okay, let's talk setting sprays. I finished 2 setting sprays this year, and I didn't love either of them. I used to love this NYX matte finish one, but I got really tired of the smell by the end, or maybe it went off, I don't know, but I hadn't even had it that, 6 months. What is with these setting sprays only lasting 6 months? That seems like no time. I guess because it's like a liquid? But it's basically water, right? Like a couple other ingredients in there, but mostly water. Yeah, the first ingredient is water and then alcohol, and those things do not expire. Whatever. And this was from Jane Iredale. This one was a present. When I had these, I was using them every single day. Now, since I finished them and I'm not in a huge rush to finish my setting sprays, I don't use it every day, but I should probably get into the habit because they expire in 6 months. I think the most exciting, or the categories where I finished the most things, are lips and mascaras. So let's do one more thing and then we'll move on to that. So I do have quite a few samples in this one. I'm just putting face primers and eyelid primers all together. This was an eyelid primer sample from Urban Decay. I think I had like 4 of these from some purchase at some point, and I was able to get through all of them except for one in 2020. So I just finished off the last one this year. This was a Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Ooh, I really did not like this. I know some people swear by it. I thought it was awful. Like, just really, really bad. This was the Tarte Quench Hydrating Primer. I did quite enjoy this, but I didn't really find that it made any difference. You know, it was just another step to add to the routine. This is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. The packaging sort of broke down by the end, and it's not my favorite eyeshadow primer, but I do find that it is effective. And this was a face primer, the Veil Mineral Primer Broad Spectrum SPF 15. I also didn't find that this made any difference, and I found the packaging or the way to apply it kind of weird with this like spatula. So yeah, would not repurchase any of those. Okay, I realized I forgot one thing. I did finish this liquid highlight last year, pretty sure. Yeah, the packaging really broke down. This was from e.l.f. I'd had this forever. I didn't really like it at all, yet I persevered through using it for a long time, but this was the only highlight that I finished this year because highlight takes a long time to finish up, right? Like, we know this. Lips. Okay, I finished, well, 2 of these are samples, and then 2 lip balms, 3 lipsticks, and 1 lip gloss. Pretty impressive. This was the Agave Sugar Lip Scrub from Bite. Didn't really like either of these. This was the lip scrub, this was the lip balm. Yeah, the lip things, well, this was like a declutter, but because I finished so much of it, I'm just sticking it in here, okay? This was the peppermint lip butter from the Rocky Mountain Soap Company. My friend gave this to me an ungodly number of years ago, literally in like elementary school or something, and yet it was perfectly fine, which is weird because this is like a kind of natural product. This company's still around, and I really like the lip balm, but I was also like, it's time to go. Time to go. Okay, this is the only lip gloss I finished. This was from MAC. You can see that there's a tiny bit left in the bottom there, but honestly, this product was making me nauseous towards the end, so I was like, we're calling this done. We're calling it quits. Then I have this little baby one. This might have been Essence or some other like kind of cheapo brand. Didn't enjoy this very much at all, but I got it right down to the nub. And then for lipsticks, one of these, I think this was, yeah, this was Maybelline, this was L'Oreal, and then this was, I believe, Revlon. So sort of the trifecta of lip product brands, at least for myself, none of which are cruelty-free and none of which I will be purchasing again, probably ever. Though Maybelline mascaras, ooh, I will miss those. Didn't like any of these. So I didn't bother to dig that part out. This was a pretty hot pink color. This one was a bit more nude, but still kind of brighter than I would like, but I did not bother to dig that one out, as you can see. And then this one, I did actually dig it out, not 100%, but most of it, and then it was like, okay, we don't even like this product that much, like, it's time to say goodbye. Time to say goodbye. Okay, and the final category, mascaras. I saved the best for last. I did not even realize how many mascaras I finished this year because I feel like I've been working on the same ones for ages, but that's not actually true. It's just that I get bored of mascara more quickly than any other product. So whereas I can keep a blush or an eyeshadow palette in my sort of makeup bag for a month or two easily with mascaras, that's too long. I can't do it. So here we have 7 mascaras. So happy about this. So happy about how many I finished. One was a mini, but there was still a ton of product in this. This was the Lancome Hypnose mascara. That was fine, but not waterproof. This was the L'Oreal Double Extend mascara. I love this way back in the day. This was the Clinique High Impact Curly mascara. This was a brown one. This was okay, not great. This was the CoverGirl Flamed Out Water Resistant mascara. I love this at one time, but it really dried out, unfortunately. This was the one that I already talked about, the Maybelline 1x1. Maybelline Illegal Length. You can see lots of these are Maybelline or CoverGirl. I found that those are just the best drugstore brands, especially Maybelline. I liked this at a time, but again, this really dried out. This was the CoverGirl one, but as you can see, it kind of broke in the middle there. So yeah, those are all of the mascaras that I finished. Those are all of the makeup empties that I have collectively from this year. This was quite a long video. I'm sorry I kind of combined 2 videos, but it didn't really make sense to me to make it 2 separate ones. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end, and let's talk about the book that I've been reading lately. So the book that I'm currently reading right now, I'm almost finished. I have 38 minutes left, and it has to go back to the library today, so I'm really trying to finish it. This is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. This, as you can see, I'm listening to on audio. I don't generally like to listen to fiction on audio. I try to only listen to nonfiction, but I couldn't find anything that I felt like listening to on audio, and the library had this available, so I was like, why not? It's a really interesting book. It's kind of like Devil Wears Prada meets Get Out. It's in the setting of The Devil Wears Prada, but it has the like horror elements of Get Out. I don't actually love the characters, so I think that's kind of why I'm not really super enjoying it, but it is a really interesting like kind of thriller, and the racial elements are super, super interesting. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it for now. This video has been way too long. I will talk to you next week. Stay tuned for the video where I talk about all of the empties that I finished this year, not makeup. So hair care, skincare, body care, I've got a ton of stuff in that department as well. So look forward to that, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I just found out that gyms are closing on Wednesday, along with just about everything else. I mean, it makes sense, but it really sucks. Anyways, let's get on with it, shall we?